Side note, why did that baby Final Flash somehow just cut off the cloth that was covering folks' ass? Like, what kind of freaky ass key blast to fire at this nigga? That film was so ass that Gohan didn't want to pop out the vehicle so folks could see him with that shit on. You ever heard use the phrase dress to the nines? This is more like dress to the 2.5s.
But sometimes we seem to disagree. Pray that you protect her and increase my sympathy. I'm a mini you, one day I'll have a mini me. I'm your son, I shouldn't treat you like an enemy. I get annoyed when you point out all my tendencies.
Okay, now let's talk about the Namek Saga. To this day, I think the Namek Saga is easily the best Dragon Ball Z arc, and it's not even that close in my opinion. There's so much content in this saga gang, and although it's a pretty long arc, like as a kid, it never really felt like it was going on like longer than it should have been type shit. Even when watching this as an adult, I still feel the same way. Like, yeah, it's a bit on the slow side compared to like the pacing of like modern anime and shit, but I feel like that comes with the territory of older shows, so I can't really use that against it. And I don't really mind it at this point in my anime watching tenure. I don't really mind it at all. I also still felt a decent amount of that same tension and suspense that this arc made me feel as a kid. And that's literally one of the main things I remember as a shorty watching this. There's a lot of fear in this arc for a few reasons. First things first, the obvious. These niggas are on a distant planet that they've never been to. 2, Vegeta's here. 3, there are niggas that's even stronger than Vegeta, a lot stronger, and y'all barely just beat that nigga not too long ago. 4, Goku is late to the function again. And 5, all the people y'all trying to steer clear of are all looking for the Dragon Balls that you're looking for, meaning that you're gonna run into these niggas eventually. And 6, just fear of not knowing what's gonna happen next between all these niggas is just terrifying at that for our MCs. At the beginning of the Namek Saga, we're pretty much in the dark when it comes to the broad conflict, but this arc goes on and it does an amazing job at peeling back the layers to the story as the arc progresses, in my opinion. Also, it's kind of crazy how real this series gets. I'm strictly thinking about the Namekians when I say this, by the way. Niggas literally pulled up to their home planet and slaughtered them and stuffed around that bitch like it was theirs the whole time. Sounds really familiar if you ask me. Or if you could spin it a different way, they were just chilling at the crib and these intergalactic colonizers just pulled up and basically enslaved and slaughtered them. Sounds really familiar as well. But anyways, let's run through the saga gang because there's a lot to talk about here. First things first, side note. The way that they use the term Namek is very unsettling. I promise you, if you replace the word Namek with nigga or even the hard R Runsky, I can guarantee that the sentence will damn near feel equally offensive.
Hey Krillin, I mean, if Kami made the Dragon Balls and he's a Namek, why couldn't other Nameks do the same thing?
Like, am I tweaking, my nigga? Am I tweaking? Does that sound crazy?
But survive. I don't get it. If these Namekians really had a set of Dragon Balls like you guys say...
See, Yajirobe gets it. Namekian sounds way better.
Hey, you call that good news? You're talking about 100 Piccolos here.
Maybe not. That 100 Piccolos sounds racist as hell, too. That's like, bro, it's like 100 Jaquavius kind of tight beat. Like, I don't know about that line, Scud. I don't know. Anyways, before I started gathering my thoughts about this saga as a whole, I had to stop and tell myself, like, hey, maybe you should go rewatch some of this shit, gang. You got a good memory, but there's no way you remember everything in this motherfucker. And it turns out that was the right move, because my slow ass low-key forgot why they were even here to begin with. Shouts out to Vegeta again, by the way, for clutching up and telling them that Namek had Dragon Balls. Shouts out to Vegeta. Another reason why I'm glad he's alive. They gave us a lot of information about the Dragon Balls themselves before they even touched down on the planet to make sure that us and the main cast were well informed about them. Hey, Bulma looking kinda, you know what I mean? Oh no, we gotta talk about Yazabeth Heights. We gotta talk about Yazabeth Heights. Josh ass knew I wasn't gonna forget about this. Gee, I know I'm not the most locked in nigga when it comes to like when I watched this as a kid. I know I wasn't the most locked in nigga at all. But genuine question here. How many of you niggas actually remember what Yazabeth Heights was? Cause this nigga Josh had that just in the holster when the question came up about the shit. It was baffling. My nigga heard that question and said Yazabeth Heights with his hands folded immediately. Nigga answered that shit like it was a simple arithmetic equation. Folks answered that shit. We were in that bitch like, is that French or Portuguese? Maybe I'm not a real friend, man. Maybe I'm just a fried DBZ fan for real. But maybe that's just common knowledge for real. Hey, low-key, seeing Gohan saying that he wanted to go was a fire-ass scene. Seeing him, like, stand up for himself was super cool. And I like how he, like, respectful little folks kept it. Because he could have been, like, he could have played, like, a little Timothy and ripped the fuck you, mom. But he kept it cool. I like how Goku was just sitting there smiling, not saying shit like a proud dad. And I also love how understanding Chi-Chi is throughout this shit, too. I remember, like, when I was a kid, I used to thought Chi-Chi was just like a whole nag throughout this whole show. But it's not really like that, at least all the time. Chi-Chi just wants some sense of, like, normality in her family. And I get it 1,000%. I guess you want some normality, but you probably should have thought about that before you married a nigga that you used to joyride around on a cloud with. I'm just saying. That bad father narrative easily gets dissected when you watch the show, nigga. My fault about all this talk before they get on the ship. I don't know I'm yapping, but we gotta talk about this weak-ass fit Chi-Chi had Gohan in. That fit was so ass that nigga Gohan ain't want to pop out the vehicle supposed to see him with that shit on. You ever heard niggas use the phrase dress to the nines? This is more like dress to the 2.5s. The Jiminy Cricket were not Jiminy Cricketing enough for me personally. I'm not gonna... Alright, I'm through. Hey, Bulma kinda... Oh, man. Finding out that Vegeta was on Namek was the beginning of the treacherous time on Namek. I'm not gonna lie. It was bad. I know me personally, if I would have seen that Saiyan ship, I would have had a hint of Dookie going down the pants leg on my gi. Me personally, that's just me. And then seeing the other one, it made me like, soiled the other pants leg too. We got to see a lot of shit happen when they first touch out on Namek low key. We got to see our first intro to Frieza, Zarbon, Dodoria. We got to see Kui get absolutely Moima warped after trying that weak ass shit against Vegeta. Dirty Fireworks is such a raw ass move, by the way. Side note, sorry. The Vegeta versus Dodoria standoff was low key pretty fire too, because we got to see Vegeta like really get into his shit talking bag, and that's like the favorite iteration of Vegeta that I have is when he talking shit and he like really confident. Low key, the Dorio was trying to like love bro folks ass. Like he was trying to take his scouter was like a starter taking a bench warmer chin strap for the niggas that play football out there. It's like the same exact effect. And it's crazy how the Dorio just dropped the A-gang. Frieza blew up your home planet and slaughtered damn near your entire race because he felt threatened. And then Vegeta hit him with the woo-wop and some zested bam as the garnish on top and sent the Dorio straight to hell after he tried to run away. After a Dead by Daylight game against Vegeta and Goku fixing the spaceship, damn, I miss when this nigga Goku used to beat all the stupid allegations. And, a casual, unnecessary slaughter of a Namekian village, we get Vegeta versus Zarbon, which is another fire-ass moment. I think the part of this fight that I enjoyed the most was the whole spaceship section where he outsmarted Frieza and everybody on that ship pretty much. Otherwise, the vibe. This shit was slight work the second time around. He beat his ass right in front of Bulma and Krillin. I know that was a terrifying sight to see. I'm not gonna lie. Speaking of terrifying, gang, when Vegeta found out that Gohan finessed him and took one of the Dragon Balls he hit, I was like, oh no, he really about to smoke our shit. Cause that nigga Vegeta was pissed. This is the part of the fear that I was talking about earlier. Like, on the good guy side, we currently feel like ants in this whole ass like jungle ecosystem at this point. Seemingly we're insignificant, and now one of our predators know that we've deceived them and now they're hunting us actively. The tension started building up a lot around this time. We literally just got off like a whole ass close call and now we're on the run. And what's even worse is that Frieza, aka the most dangerous nigga in the picture, just called up even realer niggas to go look for the Dragon Balls. Dude, this situation was horrible. Speaking of those realer niggas, it's time to talk about the Ginyu Force section. And it really seemed like the struggle was really like never ending here at this point, because the niggas that we were rooting for are literally at the bottom of the totem pole, and they just showing us more and more that we can't hang while we wait for Goku's appearance. Even when we got this like temporary alliance with Vegeta, that shit still didn't look good. And Vegeta's pretty strong at this point. And Dragon Ball Z made sure they didn't drag their feet when it came to making us feel this way. Look at when it was first face to face with the Ginyu Force. Like this is probably like a really minuscule scene that don't mean much to a lot of people, but look at like how desperate Vegeta was in his attempts to get rid of the last two Dragon Balls just so they couldn't use it and bring it to Frieza. Just the fact that he tried some desperate shit means that like these niggas strong, and like he's a very fearsome ally to have at this point that we literally just ganked due to the circumstance. And he still can't do shit. We still can't do shit. They hyped up Berta like hell. Like when he threw that Dragon Ball and he like caught up like before everybody realized it, that was like raw. That was a cold ass scene. Definitely a rare W for my nigga. They did the same thing for Gordo too. Gave him a cool little scene where he took the Dragon Ball. And I actually like the approach to the Ginyu Force's writing overall and they overall nature too. Up until now, we just been dealing with like straight up super evil niggas. So it's nice to see a change up here. They gave the Ginyu Force that same that same menace and presence that the other villains had in their introductions, but they gave them more of a comedic tone than anything, which was pretty refreshing considering the dire circumstances that our heroes found themselves in. I mean, these niggas playing rock, paper, scissors to see who gonna beat who ass. Gordo's hideous and weird, and Raccoon just like talk funny. Like, it's just some real like lighthearted, fun type shit. But I mean, you about to die, but like, you know, fun. You feel me? Side note, any of the like the little sequences where Jason's talking too much is always gonna be funny as hell. Especially him apologizing to Ginyu after folks told that nigga to shut up. It's just so funny, folks. Classic comedy. The whole fight sequence was hard. This was a joy to watch when I was a kid because this was like weeks and weeks of anticipation and cliffhangers, bro. The initial fight against Gordo was actually way better than I remember. And that's because strictly, I think adding the time aspect of DBZ fights can make for some really cool shit. I mean, look how cool Hit was in Dragon Ball Super. That plus him having psychic powers, which is something that we don't like really see that much in DBZ. It's a pretty interesting switch up from like the raw speed and power that we used to seeing. And like Vegeta cutting folks' head off was a crazy surprise too. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't expect that to happen. The fight against Raccoon was pretty fire because we got to see like Vegeta actually like try his hardest for the first time, like actually try 100%. And after he got his initial power up too, and for a minute, it really looked like the nigga was winning. Gee, when that smoke cleared and that nigga Raccoon was standing there zestfully while laughing, that shit was so damn funny, boy. Like now that I'm watching this, side note, why did that baby Final Flash somehow just cut out the cloth that was covering folks' ass? Like, what kind of freaky ass key blast did Vegeta fire at this nigga? But we all know what happens next. Vegeta got his ass waxed pretty badly, and it was brutal. Same thing for Krillin and Gohan too. I'm pretty sure he broke Gohan's neck with that kick. I definitely remember watching this as a kid, and I thought that like Gohan was dead for sure. But now it's that time. And you know what time it is, folks. Goku pulled up on some disrespectful shit. Raccoon over here talking about, hey, shorty, who is you? Move around. You ain't got shit to do with this. Goku ignored folks and started handing out per 30s to his niggas. I think it was even funny that they was having that walk with me son ass talk, like Raccoon wasn't standing right there. And it's making it even funnier that the fact that Vegeta was still hating while all this shit was happening. This nigga Vegeta was real on his, he was on his real Meet the Grams of Euphoria type beat. Like, gang, he's saving you. What the fuck are you hating him for? And hold on, this nigga Goku could read minds, boy. What the fuck? When did you learn this, pal? I think it's low-key funny because Goku only healed Vegeta because he knew he would beat his ass if he stepped in the wrong direction, folks. Folks just not this nice goofy y'all all try to make him out to be, folks. It's some of this shit is calculated. And I already talked about this fight in my museum and making video, but this is a major detail that I forgot about. This is what niggas first heard about Super Saiyans. They planted this little nugget of information here. Like, planting this little nugget of information here is actually really smart. I think this, like, inner dialogue with Vegeta seemingly having, like, admiration for his op is damn near the turning point of Vegeta's character from this point on. This had to be strategically planted because this works out a bit too well. And in hindsight, these are two major things for later on in the story that, like, this is a perfect place for them to be introduced at. I think Frieza and Nail was a really important fight because this is where they finally took them fucking cereal box toys off their face. Got rid of them bum-ass scouters. I think they said Frieza was, like, at 500,000 or some shit at base, and Toriyama was like, yeah, I'm sick of counting this shit. And just we never heard a number again. I love it there, bro. Besides the 1 million, but, like, this is like kind of where they started to be like, yeah, you know, we don't care about these numbers no more. I think one of the most underrated sequences in this arc is the Ginyu fight, the Captain Ginyu fight. It's always refreshing to see like some unconventional techniques in DBZ, and it doesn't get more unconventional than Ginyu's body change. Seeing him switch bodies with Goku created a really like uncomfortable scenario for Gohan and Krillin too. I would be super conflicted too if my homie was in another nigga body and I had to beat folks' ass in his body to get my homie back where he belonged. Like, it's just confusing and that's weird. Pause a little bit if that is a pause. Even Vegeta ass was confused in the midst of him like sending Jace to hell and changing that nigga into a frog was not how I expected that fight to end, all things considered. I'm not gonna lie. I love this sequence after the fight too, because Vegeta was like being a dickhead, like on some funny shit, but he was genuinely trying to help this nigga Goku. And I don't know why that Mondo cool line is funny as hell to me, but it just is. This whole sequence was pretty good in my opinion. It's nice to see Vegeta get in his bag and get the absolute shit talking mode, because we all know what happens after this, because it didn't last that long. The Frieza sequence is one of the best fights in anime history, obviously. Starting off, it was pretty nice to get Piccolo back in the picture. Now, when Guru died and Krillin looked up and they seen Frieza on the little pillar, they finally like set the stage for the fight. And I just had a strong feeling that this shit was about to be really bad, and boy, was I right. It was cool to see Piccolo fuse with Nail too. I think it was pretty cool to just have a moment where Piccolo is probably like arguably stronger than Vegeta at least once. And this is also like a monumental moment in the story too, because this is what the funniest part about DBZ comes to fruition. This is what Piccolo just started yelling for absolutely no reason from this day right here. And just seeing him hyper himself up is just pure comedy still to this day, bro. At first glance, at least in base, it really looked like Vegeta was like on equal footing with Frieza ass. But once he reached that second form, it started to look less and less realistic that they was actually gonna beat that nigga. Oh my God, folks. Gohan summed it up so perfectly, cause that nigga said, it was nice knowing you, Krillin, bro. All that courage just evaporated. Like, Gohan dapped up Krillin and just said, long live us, nigga, on bro.
That's it, Buckaroo. Ride 'em, cowboy.
Whoa, Frieza, no diddy, no
freaky ass nigga.
All right, my fault. Low-key, shout out to Gohan here. Folks actually landed some like clean hits on folks' ass. Even Vegeta ass was like, okay, little nigga, you doing your thing there, for Nemu. Gohan definitely boosted the team morale at this point, because he was definitely like the realest nigga here for a little while. The Piccolo pull-up was clean, gang, I'm not gonna lie. It was clean. Vegeta was talking crazy to folks ass like he wasn't sitting there scared as hell. Piccolo was actually hanging there for a minute too, you know, and then Frieza transformed again in his third form, and you know, shit happened. Funny fact, Frieza's third form used to terrify me as a kid, gang. And you know how I said like, not like niggas menacing presence and used to scare me? Like, this actually, I mean, like I used to play the Budokai games. Anytime this nigga went into this form, I used to damn near run out the room type shit. Like, this was horrifying in my opinion. The funny thing is, Piccolo was getting deep fried and Frieza ain't even had to do this, but he was like, man, I'm gonna transform again. Hats off to Vegeta for trying to get a quick Zenkai boost before he finished transforming, but this was all in vain. We know what happened. Then Frieza smoked the Senzu beam, plugged himself Dende, and this is where the legendary ass whooping begins. Vegeta versus Frieza is another fight that made its way into the museum making with flying colors, and gang, I honestly think this is the worst beating that Vegeta ever received. Kid Buu is handing out a cartoonish ass whooping, but it's just the brutality mixed in with how confident Vegeta was in this fight and how fast that shit got silenced. It's just a combination of those that just really made me think like, damn, this is really bad. Gang, Frieza made an example of folks' ass. Gohan, Piccolo, and Krillin couldn't do anything but watch Frieza use his back as a Wii Sports boxing drill. And you just hear Vegeta just screaming in pain and agony, and they couldn't do anything about it. Frieza could have been smoked, folks, but he had to make it clear that you niggas ain't shit. As a kid, this was a disturbing watch, and I didn't know I was looking for help harder than the internet was looking for Drake's daughter after Meet the Grams dropped. Personally, I think a lot of people forgot like how long the Goku versus Frieza fight actually is. Even going back now, I genuinely do not remember this fight lasted for like 20 plus episodes. It's wild. I think it's because we often go straight to the most important moment, which is Super Saiyan, but there's so much more that happened before that. Like, there's so many small moments here that I think are really cool now that I'm rewatching this. After Frieza's like Ki Blast Flurry and showing him and Goku standing back to back on top of that one pillar of land is a cold ass shot, and they like floated down together. And what makes it even colder is that Goku didn't say anything at all while Frieza was thinking to himself, like actually acknowledging like Goku as a worthy opponent. And don't get me started with the music here, my God. I will play some here, but if this get copyrighted, I damn near crash out. This nigga Frieza threw his own planetary devastation at this nigga, G. If I'm not mistaken, I believe this is like one of the last times we actually got to see like Kaioken until like all the way in the Universe 6 tournament. It might have been like PyCon. It might have been some PyCon thing on the way, but like canonically, all the way to the Universe 6 tournament, that's the one time we see Kaioken again. The Spirit Bomb shit was pretty funny too. Like, cause Frieza wasn't on some like traditional anime villain type shit. He said, nah, nigga, what the hell you think you doing? He socked that nigga mid-energy harvest. Well, that shit was hilarious. And they baited us into thinking like this new iteration of the Spirit Bomb finished the fight, and then the rest was history. Krillin Down was super unexpected in my opinion, because I'm not gonna lie, all that shit happened so fast. Usually like Dragon Ball Z like will like draw out a moment. It'd be like, you know, a 5-minute moment or something that could happen real fast, but Krillin Down like fast, like Frieza popped up and that nigga was dead 2 minutes later. But that was the catalyst that Goku needed. We all know what happens next, boy. We all know. Oh man, the Super Saiyan transformation. The Super Saiyan transformation is anime. This is the moment that all kids around the world dreamed of recreating. And shout out to Sean Schemmel, man. This voice actor was delivered so perfectly, and this is why he's in the Voice Actor Hall of Fame. Literally hearing like the pain and struggle from like kind of like trying to restrain himself or control his anger type shit. This shit made the world stop. Like, I actually seen a clip of these guys in the gym rewatching this, and everybody in there just stopped and like stopped working out. They were like looking at the screen when this moment happened. Like, this scene makes you lock in. Like, anytime this shit on the screen, you probably gonna look at this shit. And without this moment, like setting a precedent and the standard for like transformations, I doubt moments like this that try to replicate this will have the same feeling. And like, it probably wouldn't be as good. This is the model way to do any transformation in any show from like this point on. And to see this moment replicated in the video games hits every single time. It don't matter how many games I see it in. And from that point on, it was all about revenge. My boy Goku get his. Goku didn't care about the planet dying right before his very eyes, which looked very amazing, by the way. Shout out to all the artists and animators that worked on that. He just wanted to disrespect Frieza. You knew that's what it actually was when Goku just started slapping that nigga repeatedly on some disrespectful shit. Like, why did he slap the shit out of him like this? They also gave us more Goku's tragic flaw here at the end of the fight. I'm not gonna lie, this is actually insane how merciful this nigga is. Cause Frieza literally just killed his best friend. And it still burns him after the fact. Cause Frieza still ends up trying to kill him with his back turned, even after his act of kindness. It's funny, after all this, like, cause all these niggas are kind of like spectating, kind of sort of, or like getting King Kai's like playback of the play-by-play like commentary on it, and Vegeta still on Earth acting like a dickhead, like he's still on bullshit. But I think he's still like messing with Gohan, even though he beat the shit out of him. Like I mean, they did just go through like hell and back together, so that's super understandable. So he's kind of like an abusive uncle, if that makes sense. And I really enjoyed him like sorting out the whole situation for the Namekians too, because them niggas was just chilling and they just ended up getting slaughtered. So it was cool to see them get reparations for that. I wish black people got the similar treatment, but you know, America. Overall, I still genuinely think that the Namek Saga is not only the best arc in the Dragon Ball series, but I think it's one of the best arcs in anime ever. That feeling of tension that you get like throughout this whole arc is still present, even though I know what's gonna happen next, which is crazy. Goku's beef with Frieza had as much tension as Kendrick versus Drake beef had now, and that's impressive because this shit getting real over there. It's not crazy to say this is the most important arc in anime history, and this still holds up. The Namek Saga is great.
All right, man, we back again with another review on my boy Mondo right here. It's your boy Durag Demon. You know, follow me on all social media per usual. Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitch, all that Durag Demon _. Pretty sure most of them should be something close to that. But yeah, we back here on my boy Vaughn channel talking about some more Dragon Ball Z, my favorite anime of all time, easily, uncontested, always will be, period. But we talking about the Namek Saga this time. So the Namek Saga is a pretty long saga and a pretty good one in terms of the story for Dragon Ball Z. Start off with, you know, post Saiyan Saga, Goku's in the hospital, stuff like that, and then a lot of the Z fighters are dead. Tien dead, Yamcha dead, Piccolo dead, Chaozu dead. They all died from the Saiyan battle, so you know, a lot of them, especially Chaozu, has already been revived by the Dragon Ball, so they can't really use the Earth Dragon Balls because you can only bring somebody back one time. So they need another resolution, and then that's when I find out, oh yeah, it's another set of Dragon Balls on planet Namek that y'all might be able to use. So cool. They go travel. They end up finding Kami's ship. I'm only mentioning this point because I know Vaughn finna harp on this in his actual video, because they go to find Kami's ship in a place called Yanzabit Heights, and Vaughn been trolling me for the longest that I actually know the name of this place called Yanzabit Heights.
You damn straight.
In Dragon Ball Z, seeing as to how this is like one of the only times in Dragon Ball Z that they actually mentioned the name Yanzabit Heights, so he be, you know, trolling me over that point. But you know, that being said, you know, they found a ship, cool. Get to Namek, took about a month. And yeah, it's just another adventure for the Dragon Ball Z fighters. Krillin and Gohan. Chi-Chi dressed him up like a motherfucking Boy Scout, lame as hell. Like, just, he looks terrible. But yeah, them two moments, they go all the way to Namek, cool. Instantly, as soon as they get to that motherfucker, and I mean instantly, it's just instant problems. Vegeta landed instantly right after. Vegeta got his ass whooped on Earth by all the Z fighters. You know, he, you know, on the brink of death type shit. So he got healed up, healing pod, cool, came back, right? So cool. From that point on, it's instant trouble. As soon as they land on that motherfucker, Vegeta instantly fighting Kui. That's like the first fight that we get from this whole saga. He absolutely destroys Kui, because before they both had 18,000 power levels. It was about, you know, pretty even before Vegeta went to planet Namek. But this is where we get, not the introduction, but this is where this saga puts a lot of emphasis on Zenkai boosts. So Vegeta, obviously he got his ass whooped on Earth, so he gets his Zenkai boost, and it's only applicable to Saiyans. If you get, close to death, then you get a power increase. So he got a power increase since fighting on Earth, and he absolutely slaughters Kui. Not even close. Then fast forward a little bit, Vegeta, terrorizing Frieza's group now. Now he fights Dodoria, slaughters Dodoria too. Like he just shitting on these niggas. It's a good introduction to the Frieza group. Frieza himself, just, the pretty much ruler of the universe as far as we're concerned at this point. It's really interesting just to see how far in advance they are compared to everybody else. I remember when Krillin and Gohan first got there and Frieza and his gang actually flew by, they were just like completely shook. Like, bro, this power level that I just felt was just like, it just made some shit run down my ass and I need to go clean it up real quick type shit. Like, it was like, I ain't never been that scared in my life type shit. So it was, it was one of the moments. But nonetheless, yeah, Vegeta slaughtering everybody. That's pretty much the beginning of this arc on the actual planet Namek. Vegeta is just literally slaughtering Frieza's men. Kills Kui, kills Dodoria. He fights Zarbon. He's beating Zarbon ass at first, but Zarbon, we also have an introduction to Zarbon being, one of the few people in this universe that can transform. So we're introduced to transformation. Not introduced, because obviously the Saiyans had their Ozaru transformation back in, OG Dragon Ball with Goku and then Vegeta and Gohan and stuff like that, and Dragon Ball Z. This is, I guess, one of the other transformations that we've seen. We get kind of reintroduced to it because it's been a while since we've really seen it. I guess, nah, because Vegeta just did it in the same arc. I'm tweaking. He actually transforms. It's not really much of a transformation either. He, just buffs up a little bit and just start beating Vegeta ass. Cool. A lot has happened in this arc. It's just a very long arc. A lot of fights. A lot of things happening. Vegeta gets whooped. Cool. Takes him to the healing pod. This was dumb as fuck. Zarbon whooped his ass, took him back to Frieza's ship to heal him, and he left like some Frieza's like regular soldiers just watching Vegeta. Like, I don't understand the thought process behind it, because obviously when Vegeta heals, he's just gonna whoop their ass, break out that bitch, cause more havoc. Why isn't Zarbon or Frieza the two people on the planet that can actually whoop Vegeta's ass right now? In Frieza's group, at least. Why don't one of you niggas watch him? Obviously Zarbon, because Frieza's not gonna do that. That's, peasant work to him type shit. So why didn't Zarbon just watch his ass? Like, you feel me? Like, that was kind of stupid on their part to have just a pull to fucking watch him. Then Vegeta, causing more havoc because they, at this time, are gathering Dragon Balls because Frieza overheard the whole Dragon Ball thing by Nappa Scouter and when they were on Earth. So he was like, oh yeah, I'm going to Namek. Let's do this shit. So he, is getting the Dragon Balls before everybody else, because Vegeta wants the Dragon Balls, obviously, because he wants immortality at this time. The Z Fighters want the Dragon Balls right now that bring back Chaozu and the rest of the people at the same time as well. So there's a lot of niggas that want the Dragon Balls. So Frieza and them have already got some of them because they went around to the villages. They slaughter in the villages and take their Dragon Balls to straight, straight imperialism type shit. Taking that shit to say, fuck y'all. So Vegeta took them motherfuckers, staying them bitches cool. Let's see, then we get an introduction to Guru, big fat ass nigga, basically the OG, the godfather of the Namekians. He, do some cool shit, like he gives potential increases or releases to Krillin and Gohan. Both of them. Krillin's wasn't that much, but Gohan's obviously was a lot. They said that Gohan went from where he was at to around Vegeta's level on Earth when he first arrived. So that's a pretty big increase because Gohan was nowhere near that. But we all know that Gohan has a lot of latent potential. So a lot of kind of just plot points that get played out later in Dragon Ball Z really kind of, manifesting the foundations and stuff are setting in this arc right here. So, we see the Gohan, having latent potential. We see that for the rest of Dragon Ball still in Super and, in the Dragon Ball Heroes movie. We still see that shit. So it's a very big plot point for Dragon Ball and Gohan's character development specifically. But yeah, after that, Vegeta kills, kills him. We get introduced to Nail, another strong fighter, the strongest Namekian by far at this point. And then turns out Frieza just gonna call the motherfucking Ginyu Force. So Ginyu Force, his big bad special elite force, which originated under, his father King Cold, and it's now his special elite force, come to Namek. So obviously fucking shit up, like fucking shit up. They almost had immortality, but that's what Vegeta obviously was hoping for, so he can actually beat these niggas. They end up fighting them niggas too, fighting the whole fucking Ginyu Force, getting absolutely whooped. Well, first Gohan and Krillin fought them first, fought Guldo specifically, and they was finna get they shit worked. Like, they was doing something a little bit at first, but then Guldo did his paralysis shit and was about to like smoke them niggas with them tree things. But Vegeta obviously saved him. At this point, we can say that he had some type of connection to him at this point because he needed them alive specifically. But then they gotta fight Raccoon. Good lord, Raccoon slaughtered Vegeta. Like, he beat his fucking ass up and down that motherfucker. And then beat Gohan's ass, beat Krillin ass, and then finally Goku, the king of showing up late, finally comes to the motherfucker rescue. The king, he always show up late as hell. He just did in the same arc coming back alive. Like, granted, he did just come back from the fucking dead, so I guess he has to travel the whole time. But still, good lord, showing up late per usual. But he saves him, of course. Whoops Raccoon's ass. Whoops Jason Burter's ass. Like, Jace kind of escapes, but he, like, absolutely decimates Raccoon and Burter, for sure. Ginyu had already left at this point. He back at the ship. He took the Dragon Balls back to Frieza like the little right-hand bitch boy henchman he is. And then after that, Ginyu ends up coming back to the fight scene. And then we end up getting Goku versus Ginyu. A very good fight in this. We get to see Goku's more upper limits of his power since he was training the entire time that he was flying to Namek. He's doing the gravity chain that we're getting introduced to for the first time. It's gonna be a good element. Like I said, a lot of elements are playing the foundation right now that are gonna be, for the duration of Dragon Ball. So gravity training is something that we see for the rest of Dragon Ball. They're still utilizing gravity chambers. The Buu Saga, after that, et cetera, they're still using this as an effective training method. And we see Goku go up to, I believe, 100 times Earth gravity while he was training it was 6 days that he took to travel from Earth to Namek in the new Saiyan pod that he got upgraded and shit. Made Goku go from where he was at in the Saiyan Saga to, whooping Ginyu ass. Like, we saw the upper limits of Kaioken. Not really the upper limits, but he really pushed Kaioken. He didn't really give a number to it, but he just did Kaioken. He, did like 180,000, I think it went up to. And Ginyu was only 120,000 at that point. So he was like, good lord, this is terrible. Switch bodies, a very good power that we see from Captain Ginyu, unique. I don't think we've seen anything like that so far in Dragon Ball. So the power to switch bodies, because this body that he currently had that's just not even his body. He took that from somebody else. But shitty as hell. He took Goku body, thought shit was gonna be sweet. Ain't he know how to use that shit. So ended up getting his ass whooped by Vegeta because Vegeta got a sensu beam from Goku when he got back. Got his ass absolutely whooped. Vegeta has a lot of highs and lows in this arc right here, so it's he really whoops Ginyu's ass, and he's probably has a lot of resentment towards Ginyu because Ginyu has been the elite special force of the Frieza forces for a long time, and Vegeta spent most of his life ruling or under the rule of Frieza, so he knew that he's always been below the Ginyus in terms of power and in terms of rank. So I know he that did something for him, whooping their ass. He also did kind of whoop Burter's ass and Racome's ass after Goku already did like kill them type shit. But yeah, after that, let's see, he whooped their ass, switched back. Goku got his body back. Cool. Fast forward. Now they finna use the Dragon Balls. Frieza comes back and they just like, oh my fucking god. Now this shit getting fucking real. Gohan, Krillin, and Vegeta versus Frieza. Now Frieza's a very interesting character to me because Frieza don't be doing shit. Like, when I tell you he don't do shit, He's sitting on his ass. He let all his henchmen do everything. He don't fight no more. He he just be chilling. So the fact that he can maintain such a level of power and dominance while he doesn't actively train or nothing, like, what we see from, the beginning of Dragon Ball Super, like he clearly states like, oh yeah, I gotta start training for the first time in my life that I ever really had to. So these feats that he pulls off in his arc are just very impressive because he did this without ever having to try. And that just shows the level that his species is on. It's just a completely different level from everybody entirely. Like nobody naturally ever has been at that level, just at birth, from a natural species at least. Like we get, the Ginyu Force are all mutants from their respective species, and they're not even like regular. They're mutants from their species, so their regular species not that strong. Saiyans have never been as strong as Frieza ever, just naturally. But yeah, he has, the first transformation, he is ended up fighting Vegeta. So very not really a fight, but like they just had like a test of power. Like they, were just pushing against each other, and essentially their power levels were pretty much even at that point for his first transformation. Transformed into his second form. I think his first form was around 500,000. 530,000, yeah. 530,000 was Frieza's power level in his first form. Cool. Transforms. Now this nigga's at 1 million. 1 fucking million. We're just like, what the fuck? This nigga big as hell, tall as hell, whooping everybody's ass, loving everybody's fucking ass. Krillin goes down. We find out, then they can actually heal niggas. Heals Krillin, shit like that. Cool. They stalling, just bullshitting that shit. Then finally we see the return of Piccolo because they used the Dragon Balls before Frieza actually got there to do 2 wishes. 1, to wish Piccolo back to life, and 2, to wish him to the planet Namek so that he gets transported there instantaneously. So we see Piccolo, we see him fuse with Nail, the other strongest Namekian on the planet. They fuse, Piccolo pulls up to the scene. Cool. He's on par with first form Frieza. On par, and this is pissing Vegeta the fuck off. He's like, what the fuck? And Vegeta's gonna have a lot of these moments just in Dragon Ball in general where somebody is stronger than him and he's just like, what the fuck? Why is this nigga stronger than me type shit? He's had moments like this with Piccolo literally in the future. So it's very cool to see Piccolo actually getting some credit and screen time, because in whatchamacallit, in the Saiyan Saga, he got whooped by Nappa. Didn't really do much. He fought the Cybermen and stuff like that, and kind of took one of them out. But outside of that, Piccolo hasn't really had much relevance since he fought Raditz with Goku. So this is a very big moment for Piccolo, power wise. So since his power level is 1 million Frieza's, that means that Piccolo's is also somewhere around there. That's transformation number 2. Then we find out this nigga Frieza can transform again. We like, you have another transformation? Like, oh, you wasn't done? You just thought that, oh yeah, I'm just gonna keep going? Okay, whatever. Third form. This nigga about ugly as hell, but still strong as hell. Whooping their ass, whoop Piccolo ass, just absolutely shitting on everybody. Then for some reason, Frieza just gets bored and decides to go to his 4th form, his final form, quote unquote. But transforms to his final form. This is when Krillin is blasting Vegeta because Vegeta is using his Zenkai boost hack, since he has an automatic healing thing right here, being Dende. Told Krillin, yeah, blast me so I can get stronger and defeat this nigga. Cool. Krillin blast him. Dende ain't want to heal him at first, but nonetheless he ends up healing him. And we get a massive Zenkai boost from fucking Vegeta here. He ends up fighting final form Frieza. He's doing pretty well at first, but we find out that Frieza's not trying. He's using like 1% of his fucking power or some shit like that. I think he used 1% to block Vegeta's Gallic gun when he fired it at him, something like that. 1%, like he's just absolutely not trying. So he whooping his ass, absolutely bullying him. The ass whooping that Frieza gave to Vegeta during this, my good lord, it is one of the worst ones that we have seen for sure. It's a number of ass whoopings that Vegeta has gotten that are just very bad. Kid Buu being one of them. Kid Buu and I think Frieza are like the top 2, like how bad he got his ass whooped. 18 is up there. 18 whooped his ass too, but Kid Buu and Frieza were just different. Like he was whooping his ass. He fucking parted the sea like Moses and went down to the bottom and just started whooping his fucking ass. Like ate a crab on some random ass shit, but just kept like fucking piecing his shit the fuck up. And I was just like, yeah, Vegeta got it pretty bad. Like, that nigga, I would hate to be him. But again, Goku makes another entrance to the battlefield, of course, late per usual, but can't be mad. He was healing up in Frieza's ship. Goku pulls up, cool. Now, the longest fight in Dragon Ball is finally starting. We see Vegeta crying because all of his life has been dedicated to ruling Frieza, and Frieza is the only reason that Vegeta is the way that he is. He's evil and all this stuff, because Frieza ruled over his entire race and then killed his race and then continued to rule over Vegeta. He's crying, just venting basically on his frustrations on how his life turned out because of Frieza's rule and how everything is because of him. All the suffering him and his people have been through is because of him. Very big character development moment for Vegeta in the show. I think that Vegeta overall has some of the best character development in the show overall, because he just, he grows so much from being just a fucking dickhead to actually having a lot of depth as a character, actually growing and actually, changing and showing some emotion. Like, never thought that you'd see this type of emotion from Vegeta when you first met him, or a lot of people that knew Vegeta. Not one to cry and stuff like that. So for him to actually open up to Goku and admit all of this on the brink of death was very, very big for his character development. So I really like that. And then they finally fight, of course. But Goku's a lot stronger. Frieza's a lot stronger than Goku at this point. I want to say Goku's power level was probably like 3 million, somewhere around there. When his base form, when he first got healed, then they're fighting. Frieza's using still just a portion of his power. Like, Goku goes all the way to Kaioken times 20 Kamehameha, and he's, I believe, blocked it with like 5% of his power, something like that. So like, Frieza still is just absolutely not trying. After that, from that point on, they were fighting for quite a bit, and then we finally get to see the best, arguably the best transformation in anime history. The Super Saiyan transformation. Very memorable scene, very epic scene, very good music. A lot of people, have ties with the Bruce Faulconer soundtrack that is used during this transformation. Is overall a very nostalgic, very huge, one of the biggest moments in anime ever. And it led a lot of people to, copying this trope and, using this trope in real life situations, trying to turn Super Saiyan in real life. And this just had such a profound impact on the anime community overall. Like, everybody, you see other animes, pull it just because they know that it is such an epic thing. Like we said, Daily Life of the Immortal King, somebody, went Super Saiyan in that show. Like, it's just, everybody recognizes how impactful that transformation was and how legendary it is overall. So just respects to this transformation and the impact of it on the anime community. But yeah, this overall fight, Frieza versus Goku, was a very long fight. We see Frieza finally going 100% all out when he's fighting Goku in his form. So this nigga gets swole as hell in his final form versus full power Super Saiyan. They end up fighting for a while. Frieza ended up getting mad as hell, trying to blow up the damn planet. And he's still losing. Like, he just throwing a little bitch fit because he's actually getting his shit work right now. So Super Saiyan ends up being stronger than Frieza's final form, and we get a pretty good ending to the Namek Saga with Goku beating Frieza. Not really killing him, because comes back and stuff, but he ends up defeating him. He has to rush to get off the planet. Somehow he made it off the planet. He used one of the Ginyu Force pods that he found, went to Yardrat, actually beat the time, because Frieza said that when he blew up the planet, he was like, oh yeah, planet's gonna be done in like 5 minutes, okay? But little do we know, 5 minutes in anime is like, maybe 2 hours. So Goku had like 5 minutes, or quote unquote 2 hours, to actually, get off the planet, continue to beat Frieza and get off the planet. So yeah, he ends up actually getting off. Frieza is caught in the explosion of the planet. And this is also where we learned that people in this world, in this anime world, the Dragon Ball Z world, are strong enough to withstand a planet being blown up. The thing that kills most people is obviously the vacuum of space and being able to survive in space. But the actual planet being blown up doesn't kill him, because Frieza, he ended up getting blasted by Goku first off, and then the planet blew up after that, and this nigga was still alive because his species can actually survive in the vacuum of space. That was a pretty good ending, obviously, to the Frieza saga, and it's not over with Frieza, of course, because he's still alive. But a couple things that I wanted to mention about my, I guess, criticism of this saga. The first thing being, the first one isn't really criticism, but we see the power level system, the numeric power level system kind of get thrown away after this saga right here, because it's just too much. It's getting way out of hand. I believe the ending power levels for Super Saiyan was around 180 million. So something along those lines. Like they started off with, in the hundreds and in the, single digits for power levels. Like humans are like power level 5. Like I remember during OG Dragon Ball, they were like, in maybe the hundreds. And by the end of, at the beginning of Dragon Ball Z, they were around like 300-400, Goku and Piccolo. So you go from that to fucking 180 million. It's just like, okay, well, how much stronger can these niggas actually get? Like, good lord, these niggas are strong. The power scaling numeric system of Dragon Ball Z kind of gets thrown to the side. So it's not really a criticism. It's just like one of the things about this arc. Like, this is the last arc that we really see the power scaling system being utilized and like the actual numeric scale being put on these people's power levels. Because after this, it's just no point of, you're in the millions. It's just going to be hard to keep up with all these big numbers, especially for some of the younger fans. Strength just gets completely out of the realm. And yeah, that's one thing we see going to end. Other thing about this arc, I guess this one is more of a criticism, but we kind of get rid of the whole Zenkai boost system as well. Not really a system, but like that trope of Zenkai boosting to get a power increase, because this saga right here was Zenkai boost galore. Oh my god, everybody got a Zenkai boost. Vegeta got a Zenkai boost after leaving Earth, after he got his ass whooped. Vegeta got another Zenkai boost after Raccoon whooped his ass and he finally got healed up. He then got a Zenkai boost after Krillin blasted that hole in his chest. And then Goku also got a Zenkai boost after his fight with Ginyu Force and stuff like that and being injured and all that. So we see like those 5 Zenkai boosts just really be a reason that Goku and Vegeta are even on that level. We even get Zenkai boosts from, from Gohan too. Like Gohan gets his Zenkai boost when he's fighting Frieza, because he gets his ass whooped at first. He gets his Zenkai boost and he's actually doing a lot more. Like he's pushing back third form Frieza, like in during a fight, he's like pushing the ki blast against him type of thing. So he, gets that. It's just a very prominent trope towards the beginning of Dragon Ball Z that kind of just dies out, I think, because we don't see Zenkai boosts utilized really much at all after this, just because it's just like kind of seen probably as more of a cheap way to get power. We see that, Vegeta used it in a hacks way to kind of get an increase in power, and it could have got out of hand just how ease of access it was to get a power increase. So they kind of set that aside because they realized how easy it was. And then, so that, I guess, that criticism that I have of it is just because of how they kind of dropped it. But I think it's kind of their own fault, because they kind of, was using it a lot in the Namek Saga overall. But that's my overall consensus of the Namek Saga. I think that it is a very good arc. It's very long. Obviously, I've been talking for a while. And yeah, that's my overall consensus of the Namek arc.